Alright guys, how we doing? How we doing? I'm gonna turn off this so that we can see my face now. This light's a little bright. I don't know why. It's been stupid these last few streams. But how we doing, everybody? I can't see your chat. How we doing, everybody? I don't know if I'm loud enough. I'm talking kind of low. Turn my gain up a little bit, but some interesting news. I'm still coughing. So that's fun. But yeah, so today, sadly, we don't have a free pack to give away. Usually what happens to anyone who's new is I play a song by somebody and I go over it, and then what happens is I say, thank you for sharing the track, head over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win, blah blah blah, and today we don't have that. But I would still like you all to go over and share the stream on Facebook just so we can get more people in here. Are you the owner of WA? No, I'm not. The owner of WA, his name is Roman. Are you owner of WA? No, I'm not owner of WA. I work for WA, though. If you want to talk to the owner of WA, he might not be here, but his name is Roman, so if you yell, hey Roman, in the chat, he might answer. But, so last week I did this, I hate that. I hate this. What is this? Go away. I did this thing last week where, I showed you a track that I had been vibing to the week of. And again, this week is by the same artist. Different song, same artist. And it's just this one little part here that I love the sound design of, so let's, and what Discord room do I send? It'll say feedback live stream on it. But here's the song that I've been jamming out to this last week. Yeah. So that's the song I've been jamming out to in the last week. It's called, I think, Kabul by Sultan. Yeah, it's a bit crushed yoy, which is, if you're in it, serum is just a bunch of formant sounds. Alright. I can't get to the place to send the track. So you have to sign up for Discord in order to see the community. You have to join the community, and then you have to go to feedback live streams and post your track there. And the first one is going to be Casper, or Disappeared, with a don't know. Alright. So we all know Disappeared or Casper. He's usually always bringing in some songs that are good, that are really well mixed and really well mastered. What was I looking at? Yeah, so I really don't have anything to complain about. Um, I really don't have anything to complain about, just things to talk about. I like the pluck and the fact that it's not a held down lead. A lot of the times, and I can't quite put a word on this genre. I think I know what it is, but I can't quite I can't tell you this genre. I don't really know. But I usually hear like leads that are held down and that are like glided and everything like that, which I'm not a fan of all that much. So I'm kind of glad that you did a pluck that isn't glided, because I'm tired of hearing those glided notes. So everyone just puts a portamento on there and thinks it's okay. So I'm glad that you kind of changed it up and put some pluck that actually pokes through the mix really well. And you did some side chaining on there. You have your drums mixed really well. Everything sounds really good. I really don't have any complaints. So in my opinion, this track is ready for upload. I don't know if you've brought this back to me several times, as I feel like I've heard this drop a couple of times, but I feel like you're good for release now, Casper. What? I really have nothing to complain about, nothing to give you feedback on. Everything else, it sounds good. Mix sounds beefy. You know, everything sounds great. But head over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win nothing, because we don't have a pack today. This is Arca, by the way. Alright, Arca, so I like it. I like the idea you have behind this. A couple things to fix since you're not done with it yet. Make sure to increase that side chaining, because melodic dubstep has a heavy side chain on the chords, especially. Not so much the basses as heavy, but on the chords they dip out really aggressively whenever the kick and the snare hit. And I would beef up those chords, maybe stack another layer on it that has a low end to it, because they sound like they're all in the high register. So I would stack I would say to stack another layer on top of that with a lower octave, so that way all the register and the octaves are filled. I like that your lead is overpowering the chords, but I feel like it's a little too loud over top of the chords. I feel like if you like mixed it down a little bit to where it somewhat blends in but still pokes out a little bit, that's just going to be the ear. So I'm not going to tell you exactly what numbers to hit, but by ear, make it like seem like it's still mixed in, but it's not. You can hear the difference in keys and everything like that. And then your basses are the only thing that I have a problem with. I feel like in most melodic dubstep songs, you need like something like a metallic, a lot of voices, a lot of flanger, a lot of, you know, if you're in Serum, a lot of HP12 filters, a lot of high 24 filters that have a throat or a voice to them, and some basic shapes or wavetables that don't have a lot of wave in them to play in between these chords, because I mean, honestly, I feel like the way you have your basses here is fine, because I feel like I hear too much of those metallic-y basses, and the fact that you decided not to do it. I mean, some of them are metallic-y, but some of them aren't, and some of them are growls. And the only time you really ever have a growl in a melodic dubstep song is at the very beginning of a drop. So I actually applaud that you didn't do as much metallic-y basses in here, because it's kind of what you hear all the time. So I honestly would try to work with the track and keep the basses how you have them. Just because I feel like it's not something you hear often. Someone doesn't use a triangle wave or a sine wave and FM it to oscillator or whatever, and then FM it to oscillator sub, and then do all this sync modulation stuff like that, which is all you hear in melodic dubstep nowadays. So can I have my bar back, please? Thank you. But yeah, Arca, so since you don't have much of a beginning or a bridge or anything like that, it's good that you did the drop first. I don't know if you've done anything else. You said you did the drop first. Now you can build this melody in the beginning and the end and the bridge and everything like that. So it'll be a whole lot easier for you to create the entire track after this. So kind of glad you did the drop first. Can't wait to hear the rest of it though. Of course, there is some mastering and mixing things to fix, but you're still working on it, so I'm not going to give you too much on that. But so far, so good, man. Head over to Facebook, share the stream for nothing, except for to help us out and to bring more people in here so we can get more music reviewed. Nighthawks. I've first seen these guys before. Someone asked, how do I download Pumper free? You can't, because it costs money. Unless you want to pirate it, which is not cool. But if you want to support us and let us make more plugins, you can go to our website, waproductions-samples.com. Go to our plugin section and purchase it for, I think it's like 19 pounds or something. I can't. Don't quote me on that. Something like that. Why am I don't know, dude. I've been taking some medicine. I don't know what's going on. Your guess is as good as mine. Okay, so it's 23.95 pounds, but regardless. Not cheap in India. I mean, that means that the king is crazy expensive in India. I feel like it'd be worth it, though. Plus, we have an update module. So, just saying. Alright, so Nighthawks. I'm not familiar with the psytrance genre, so I don't really know exactly what to tell you to fix, because I don't know what is out of place and what isn't. I like the way that background plucky bass sounds. I feel like all it is, though, is just like a sawtooth synth wave that's just been really dropped down in octaves. I could be wrong. I don't know. The kick is nice and punchy, but I feel like this track overall lacks a low end. I always put like a disclaimer in here and say that with the audio rig that I have set up for the streams, my headphones don't pick up low end as well, so I could be totally wrong. You could have a lot, and I just can't hear it. But I can hear some, so I know if you're missing some, but I can't hear all of it. And I can hear some on that little plucky thing, and I can hear some in the kick low end, but I would add some more overall on that little pluck thing. No, it's not that I won't play it if he spams. It's just I'm not gonna. Well, so what happens, guys? There's actually a lot of new people that I'm seeing today. Sphinx NX is one of them. Nirad Ram is one of them. I don't know how to say your name. I think it's Novir. I think it's how you do it. But I usually don't pull from the chat. So basically, all the chat is for is to give people feedback, saying, "Hey, good job, you did good. Thank you for submitting your song. Thank you." That's really all chat's for. And to talk to me, and I look over the chat every now and again, and I'll say, "Yo, what's up?" Nighthawks, by the way, overall great track. I'm not familiar with the psytrance genre, so I can't really give you too much feedback on it. The mix is a little too quiet. I pump up some low end in there, and maybe some highs in there to pull out some of the highs, and that little clicky bass would be kind of dope. And maybe some more heavy side chaining is really all I can give you, but it sounds pretty dope and pretty dark and sinister. Anyway, so basically what happens is if you send me messages like that, I ignore them. Because if you put them in the feedback live stream channel and I get to them, then I get to them. How you doing, Nikki? Oh. Yeah, it's a good point. I won't play it any earlier if you spam. Alright, so black sound. Some side chaining, which I hear that you have, which is making me, I feel like it's just not intense enough. The knee or the crap, I forget what it's called. I have to look at the compressor on my software, but I'll tell you what it's called. I don't know. But the dip, basically, if you're using volume, automation for a sidechain, how far it's going down and coming back up is too low, because I can hear the instruments and the other elements dipping out, but the kick is still muted a little bit by the frequencies inside the other elements. So what I would do is increase the sidechain to make it heavier and more intense, which is never a bad thing. Your kick has a lot of sub-bassy low end to it, so I would EQ the deep low, EQ the super low end up a little bit, and then the actual bass tones out, so you have more room for sub-bass in the track, so it doesn't get all muddy. Then I would make sure your kick has a transient, because a clicky transient is in the high to mid frequencies is what makes us hear it through the mix. So I would make sure you have those. I'll make sure you have those brought up, and make sure your kick has that. Overall, I would just change the kick sample to something more plucky and something more punchy, and make the track overall sound a little bit better. And some EQing on most of everything, because there seems to be a lot of low end in these. There seems to be a lot of low end in these other elements. And some mixing would be great to put something that's not, because I can hear your sub in the background. I'm assuming it's like a rhythm. I don't know if it's a mid rhythm pluck bass that a lot of these kind of tracks have. What I would do is take some of the mids out and pump up some of the low end, the actual bass section, not the low end, but the bass section. If you ever look at an EQ, you have bands like that go all the way across with a flat line, and as you increase something and cut something out, it cuts the frequencies out. So there's a low bass and there's mid bass. You increase the mid bass up and the low bass down, because the low bass is primarily for kicks, just so you can hear the kick come through as well as the subs come through, so they don't clash in frequency. But other than that, I like the idea. It sounds really cynical. This little hallway is a little scary. I don't like that. Thank you for submitting the track. Head over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win nothing, because we are not giving away a free pack today. I keep actually automatically saying that and then cutting myself off. Yeah. It is a 1 hour stream. Looking at the chat. All right then.
So
I like that little panning bass that comes from the side and comes in the middle. I think that's cool. Overall, I really don't have anything to complain about. Maybe... No, your sidechaining is good. The panning and that little ARP you have going on might not be a good idea. But the midtones in that bass are really good. I feel like the sub is lacking a tad bit inside of it, so I feel like it should be a little bit more intense and in your face and plucky alongside with the bass. I feel like it'd be really dope. And maybe add a tail to this this ending here so it doesn't end so abrupt. I understand there's like a little bit of one right here, which is honestly just the effects happening, but maybe add another impact here and some white noise to fade it out so that if anyone were to ever pick this up for a live set, they wouldn't be able to mix this. They'd have to mix this part here because it's the only part that has a volume transition. The best part of volume transition is actually the end of the song, so people can actually mix it into mixes if they actually feel like they want to. So even if it probably won't get picked up by a DJ, it's still wise just in case it does. But yeah, the overall vibe is dope. I like the kick is really punchy in your face. Snares there. I like the arrangement, the change up of the hi-hats in the second half. And that plucky bass is cool. I like that little fade-in bass from the right to, I think it's right to center. Could be wrong. That sounds cool. Other than that, there's just some sub bass to add and some and a tail to add at the end of the track, and that's really it, man. Well, that's it, man. Head over Facebook, share the stream for us to, to be thankful, because I don't know why I keep almost saying for a chance to win something, because you're not gonna. The triplets is nice too, yeah. My reluts. Says fast mastering, I'm not a pro in it. Who really is, though? When you think about it like this, mixing is a whole lot different than mastering. Mixing can be done by just about anybody, and it can somewhat sound the same before the mastering. If you send your track to like Landr or to Arapolitz or something like that, I think his name's like Michael Arapolitz, and he's a professional EDM mix and master. Or you mix and master it yourself, or you go to YouTube, you look up a mastering tutorial, or you get a plugin that does the mastering for you. It all sounds different. It all has the same intention to make the track louder and to make the band separated so you hear everything. But everyone's masters sound different. So really, is there really a professional mastering? Because even the professional masters or audio engineers all sound different when they work on something. If that was the case, then there would only be one company that did audio engineering and audio mastering, if it didn't sound different than the other company who does the same thing. So I don't think there's anyone who's ever going to be a pro in mastering. It always sounds different. There's never really a right way to do something. Stop it. I guess it's just up to preference. It's just a little thought. Yes, I know of Landr. The stream's gonna be 1 hour. Yes, I do know of Landr. But the only problem, I'll go over my problem with Landr after this. Something sounds out of key right there. I think it's that little pluck you have in the background. It sounds out of key.
We do it, we do it, do it again.
So one thing I'm not a fan of in that lead you have is how fast it transitions from a high note to a low note, especially with this sound that you're using. So I would fix your melody overall. It kind of sounds out of place with whatever you had going on in the beginning. Right here in the center, is some out of key elements. I think it's the pluck primarily. And then right here, it sounds like a totally different track compared to the introduction. I feel like the introduction doesn't build up to a lead that, or to a drop that's supposed to be in the same track. So I would go through it and adjust some of the sound, overall lead sound you have, make it more, I don't know how to explain what to change it to, maybe more synthetic and organic sounding than like a robotic sound, which it kind of sounds like to me. I know it's a bass, basically like a bass pluck, but still. And it's too loud in the mix. And I would fix this tail, because I know I said to add tails to your tracks, but holy crap, that's almost a full minute. So yeah, this right here sounds a little weird, this little lead. I would go back and try different things with it. Track is still private, so I'm assuming it's not released. So I would go back and try some things with that lead. Try some new sounds, try some different sounds. Try changing up your melody a little bit. Especially in the second half, it sounds like it's just literally copied and pasted over. I would change up some octaves or something in the second half to make the song not as repetitive. Then this out of key element in here needs to be super fixed, because it's super out of key, whether it be in key with the pluck and out of key with the vocals, or in key with the vocals and out of key with the pluck. Either way, try to figure out which one it is and try to swap them or fix them or delete them or whatever. And then, of course, work on your master and your mix. That little lead you had was actually a little too loud in the mix. Maybe drop it down a little bit or bring things up. And we'll see how you do if you bring it back and finish it. Bring it back to us and we'll review it again. So I was talking about Landr. A minute 20. Like that little sound you had would have been dope to hear inside this drop somewhere. And this part sounded a little bit more, way more in key than this part did. So still, I would still go back and fix that part. But anyway, so as I was saying about Landr, Mira, thank you for submitting the track. Head over to Facebook, share the stream for support and get more people in here. As I was saying about Landr, my only problem with Landr, I support what Landr does. I like that they are a company that you can send your track to for somewhat cheap, like $5 or something like that, and get a master. I want a pro account for a year, and I am not sure if I should keep it or sell it. Honestly, if it's a pro account and you can get their best master, I would keep it, because you could try to make as many songs as possible, send it to them, and they'll master it for you. Since you won the pro account, it shouldn't cost you really anything. But I have sent a track of mine a long time ago, I think it was about a year ago, to them, and you have to pay $5 to get it mastered, which I understand. They have to make money, but their $5 master, when I put it back into my software, and I looked, and I just wanted to check it, really. I wanted to just double check it, maybe if I had to boost something up. The one thing that they don't do, if you send your track to them and you render it, and they ask you a lot of the times not to normalize it, because when they export it again, they normalize it, so you don't really have to. If you pay the $5, they don't normalize your track. And they don't, all they do, from what I've listened to and what I've heard, and when I went through and listened to my original versus the one they mastered, it's just a little louder. They increase your treble way too much, and they increase your bass not enough. So it sounds really like screechy in your ears. But if you pay, I had a friend of mine who paid like their middle one to biggest one or something like that, which is somewhat, I don't know exactly how much the price is for it. And it sounded really good and like really professional. So I feel like the lower price, and it tells you, yes, it's going to be not as good as other ones. But it's still a master, and it should still sound better than the original. I feel like they purposely make it somewhat not that different from the original, just because you paid $5. It's like, it's still my money. I'd still rather you do somewhat of a good job, so I don't have to go back and fix it. So I had to go back and master it myself. And at the time, I had no idea how to do any mastering of any sorts. So it was just not very good. Anyway, I like Landr. I like what they do. I think it's really cool that you could send your track somewhere and get it mastered, any genre really. But I feel like they should still put a little bit more effort in their $5 mix than anything. Well, heck, if it's worth $300 and you don't really need it, then sell it, man. Take like 50 bucks off it. So you're saving $50. I think the vocal chops are overall too loud right here. They're really good right here. They're volume-wise, they're good here, but they're really loud right here, and they need some super maxed reverb and delay, because that would be super dope if you just did that. I wouldn't have faded those vocals out too quickly like that. I would have had them continue to go here, fade out like right here at about this point right here. Not very much though, just so they kind of drowned out elements cover up, and then I would use them in your fill, which I don't know if you do. So your track is super clipping, if anyone else can hear that as well. And yeah, that is a Cymatics vocal chop, but I'm used to it by now. It's not the first time I've heard that vocal chop, trust me. So what's happening here, if you guys can hear it, it's perfect example as to why sidechaining is a super big, super big important factor in mixing as well. So sidechaining is, if anyone is unclear as to what sidechaining is, it is the dip of a frequency when a certain sample is played. So you can do it with an audio sample of any source, or you can do it with a MIDI bar. It doesn't really matter. There's plenty of ways to do it. LFO tool has a sidechaining option. There's plenty of ways to do it. Audio automation, volume automation, sorry. What's happening here is he has beefed the low end of his kick up, something like that, or beef the low end of his bass up inside these chords, or the bass note of the chords is interfering with the frequencies of the kick. So every time the kick and the chords are playing at the same time, and one of them is not sidechained, one of them being the chords need to be super sidechained, especially for future house, the frequencies are smashing together in the spectrum, and they're hitting 0 dB too hard, and it's clipping them forward because it has to have room. It's like trying to fit 6 people into one door. It's not going to work. So you have to spread them out into different doors. That's why you have to master it and mix everything and use multi-band compressors to separate bands, bands being the frequency fields. So that's one huge thing before this track and any future tracks in the future. Yeah. You need to make sure to, one, not beef up the low end of your kicks too much because it sounds too overwhelming, and to mix out the bass note in your chords and add a sub bass, which is going to be, kicks are going to be in this band of the Kicks are going to be in this band of the frequency spectrum, and subs are going to be in this band. So in a kick, you're going to cut out this band, which is the bass band, which I could show you. I'm going to pull this up so I can show you what I'm talking about, just because it's bothering me. Kicks usually have a low frequency type of thing, so if you don't cut anything out or EQ anything in those synths, in those chords, you're going to have interference when the kick and the chords are played. See, it's only when the kick hits. Alright, so if I pull up a MIDI track right now, and we go to, thank you for Laidback. I think Laidback recommended me this plugin. It's free, so anyone who doesn't have an EQ, it's free. So what happens here is with kicks, what happens is what you can do is high cut it, literally to like 20, if that. Bring this up here, and then turn your Q up, which is going to be how intense the slope's going to be. This is technically going to be your base frequency. So what you're going to do is drop this down. It really doesn't, you can either go to -3 or -6. It really depends on how intense the bass is in the kick. And you're going to want to like literally cue that up like this, so that this section right here is cut out along with all your like super high highs. Because if you don't, what sub bass does, sub bass plays in this frequency here, and the 200, I think it's this 200 kilohertz or something like that. It plays in this area here, and kicks usually play in this area here. So kicks need to be intense over here and not intense over here, and subs need to be intense right here and not intense over here. If you don't do that, when those two frequencies smack together, it makes that clipping noise. That's basically all that is. That's why every time his kick hits, when his sensor hitting, that's what's happening. If it was separated and it was sidechained and it was EQ'd correctly, it might not be that bad. But yeah, really the only thing I have to give you right now is to add some effects, vocal, some reverb, vocal-wise, reverb delay, vocal-wise, to make them more interesting, and then really fix that clipping issue. Go back and take a look at your track. Yeah, it's usually most intense in the 80 hertz. Yeah, they're like 80 hertz-ish. We could honestly pull one up and look. But I'm not gonna. That's the thing I don't like about this one, is it's not very detailed when it comes to the numbers here. I feel like I need to get the full version of Ableton so that I can get EQ8, which has a little bit more detail in the numbers, and you can actually scroll through more of them and zoom in on them and everything like that. But yeah, what I want you to do is go back and make sure you're fixing the clip here, because I feel like it's gonna be super muddy, and in the future, if you don't figure out exactly what's happening, it's gonna be hard to render any. Really gonna be difficult. Anyway, thank you for spinning the track, man. Head over to Facebook, show stream. It would be super dope if you did that. All right, I don't know how to say your name at all, so I'm not even gonna try. Yeah, that's what I said. It really depends on what kind of kick sample you're using, because sometimes they don't have that issue. There's plenty of kicks that we've made that don't have that issue at all. I think it depends on the transient of the kick as well. If the transient has a really high sub inside the kick, which a lot of future bass and future house kicks tend to do, that's when it tends to happen. And that track was actually future house. That might be why. Okay. So again, as I say, almost every single track, some side chaining on that kick would be super dope if these kind of dipped out whenever the kick hit. check out the second half. Maybe and some better transition here would have been dope. You don't really need to mix out that kick of the snare whenever you have the sidechaining happening. I feel like the kick really needs to be sidechained because we kind of can't hear the transient of it. And it'd be super nice to hear the transient. Overall, the mix is really full. The sub bass is all right, just like leveling this. Sidechain could super help, dude. I mean, especially if you literally link it to just about everything, and everything is sidechain basically the same except for like the effects and some other elements. It'd be super cool if there was a dip inside this. It doesn't have to be super intense and like rapid. It can be like a little fade and fade out, like a super nice one. But either way, I feel like a sidechaining is going to be essential here. But yeah, overall, track has a nice vibe. I dug it. Thanks for submitting the track. Get over to Facebook, share the stream so we can get more peeps in this B. Try to get through as many as possible in the next 20 minutes. Vocal samples too loud. And that horn, I would turn up the highs a little bit. Multiband compress that, turn up the highs a little bit, and turn the mix down on it a little bit. Honestly, if you had like a more cynical sounding, like a sinister sounding sound, it'd be super dope if you had like a more emotional and dark sounding preset. I hear the synth and the bass dipping out whenever the kick hits, but I feel like it should be a little bit more intense, especially with it just being trap with no vocal over it. You can do some EDM techniques in a trap song with no vocal over it. However, the brass or bass or whatever this is over here needs more high end. It's too mid-heavy. Cut out the lows in it as well. It's also got too many lows in it as well. Your 808 is mixed pretty well. This lead here is kind of, I don't want to say boring, but the sound is just too generic, so I would do like a plucky sound or a more heavy, intense reverb, sinister sound to change the feel of the song a little bit. And then add some new elements like some breaks in here, because a song that's literally a 3 minutes 26 seconds long, almost the same thing, kind of gets difficult to listen to. So I feel like if you added some more elements and some volume transitions and some give people some time to breathe during the track, they can listen to the whole thing and not be overwhelmed. So maybe like midway, put like a volume transition or another build or something. But yeah. Other than that, man, head over to Facebook, share the stream for nothing. I keep wanting to say for a chance to win something, but there's nothing to win. I don't know why I keep wanting to say that. Oh. My bad. No problem, Maxwell. there's too much effects happening and all the elements are kind of blending together in the background. Like the lead you can hear and the lead you can separate from everything else, but I feel like the chords in the background, the bass in the background are all too drowned out by effects. It seems like. Yeah. I feel like you're what I really like about some tracks like this is that they have like a layer that layers over that lead. That's like an octave lower. It has a good harmony to it. So I feel like in your first half it's okay to have the synth that you have and it be okay. But I feel like in the second half what you can do, second half of the drop, is you could have a layer with a lower octave sound, that same sound, lower octave. It'll have a cool sound to it. Some more sidechaining, so that kick and punch through a little more. I can hear it, but I can't really feel it. So mix the low end up a little bit more. The low end, not the bass end, the low end, up a little bit more. Yeah, your background elements are getting too drowned out. I think it's either they might be too much in the mix in the same mix area. Nothing should really be the same volume when you're mixing something. That lead is poking through everything, which is good that it is, but I feel like everything else behind it just kind of sounds like a big reverb table. 10 songs in an hour, yeah, that's kind of how much it works. I usually give feedback. I don't just say, nice track, bye, next. But yeah, endless, no, it's Martin Jax. Thank you for submitting the track, man. Head over to Facebook, share the stream for some support on our end. Would be great. No problem, Martin. Is it Martin? Yeah. This introduction's a bit too long. I would cut this introduction down a little bit. But I like the jam of this a lot. The vocal sample is weird, and I like it. Yeah, I was gonna say just tropical house, but I guess tropical deep house is a different thing. I feel like I like it a lot. I feel like your mix could be a little louder, but it is a work in progress, and your mastering could be a little louder, but again, you're still making it. The vocals is like weird sounding, but it's really cool. I like the vibe of this a lot. Anything unique and weird like this, I really don't care if there's something that's like fundamentally bad problems with it. I still like it. Kicking your snare, kicking your clap mixed through really well. Got some weird plucky things in my left and right ears that are in the center. Vocals got nice effects on it. Yeah, super interested to hear what this turns into whenever you're finished with it. But yeah, I'm assuming it's Clemente. I don't know. Thank you for submitting the track. Get over to Facebook, share the stream, bring us more people. Would be super nice of you. DNA. Since you're working on it, some side chaining would be nice. Just so we can hear that kick come through there. I can hear the transient, but I can't hear the vibe in the track. It just sounds like you have a transient poking through and no vibe. I guess I hear a little bit. I feel like it changes right here though. If it's a different kick sample, I wouldn't do that. I would keep one steady kick sample. Like, I like that kick. For some reason right there it changes. I feel like if it's another kick sample, it needs to not do that. I would just keep this kick you have here constant throughout the entire thing. Because that's the kick you can actually hear. This kick right here just kind of mutes out. I'm not a huge fan of tracks that have that whiny sounding lead. So I would try to like layer it with something else or try to change it somewhat. I know it's the way these kind of genres work, but I'm just not a fan of the sound overall. I mean, it's not actually not that bad. I would layer it with something else too as well, though, give it some more life. I feel like I need some more lows over like underneath that little. I hear the offbeat bass. I hear the mid part of it. I should get a little bit more lows added to it. But yeah, so far not bad. Just fix that kick. Frustrates me a little bit. But Blazikins, because I know this is Blazikins because he's changed his name to DNA. Let's thank you for submitting the track. Head over to Facebook and share the stream. That would be dope. Anyone who's watching the stream on Facebook knows I cannot get Facebook to pop up when I'm streaming. I don't know why. Only like certain areas pop up, but the stream will not actually pop up on my screen. It'll just stay white. Vocals too loud.
That won't break me. We rise and then we fall, but that won't break me. Break me, break me. That won't break me. Break me, break me, break me, break me.
Why does that melody sound super familiar? Can anyone tell me what the original song is? I feel like it was an original song. Someone said Sound Holo, and I feel like you're right. Oh, wait. It is on Holo one thing, isn't it? That's what I just listened to him make that song. Sorry, I have to investigate. It's the curiosity inside me. It's not gonna let me play it because he's a douchebag and decided to do the whole SoundCloud Go thing. Ah well. I'll YouTube it later on. So I don't know what the intent of this song is. I know that Son Holo used a cat. I'm almost certain that he did. And I don't know what this is trying to be. Because I literally watched his like hour-long stream of him actually making. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't say San Holo one thing, Jagsy remix. It just says this. And as soon as this gets uploaded, since he is a SoundCloud Go member, it's gonna get taken down. So I'm not gonna review it just for that particular reason, because there's really no. It just changed the lead and copied the melody. It doesn't say remix. So Jagsy, if you're here, I'm sorry. I don't want to be too much of a D-bag to you, but I will move on. It is I literally watched him, I think 2 days ago. I watched his entire stream on YouTube. It says San Holo makes one thing. And that exact melody is exactly what he was playing for like 50 minutes. So that's why it sounded super familiar. I was like, what the heck? That sounds like... And someone said, sounds like what? Sounds like San Holo. I'm like, you're right. Anyway, moving on. Jax did too, apparently. Yeah, probably. Hell, you could have watched the stream and literally saw his MIDI. You could have copied it note by note if you wanted to. It literally showed you note by note exactly what he played. I like the overall vibe of the future swing thing, but the mix and masters are really, really muddy. I really have nothing to change in the fundamentals of the track overall. Just the side chaining, the snares too loud, drums are mixed a little too loud. All the elements seem like they're maxed together, and they need to be a little more separated. And your master needs to be a little more separated. I hear what you're saying. I feel like Breaker. I feel like it's I feel like I don't know if it is, if something's just detuned or something's out of key, whole like as a whole.
Wow.
Like I dig the idea behind this a lot, but the mix in it is too smished. I mean, it's basically everything's at the same volume. And then the plugins are playing extremely loud, so I feel like something's extremely detuned in here. Not extremely, but just a little bit, and it sounds out of whack. You can hear it. And then all these elements are kind of put at the same volume. They're EQ'd. I can tell that. If they're not, then they're not. But they sound like they are to me. But everything just kind of seems at 0 dB, and nothing's changed. Nothing's elevated or declined in the audio spectrum. And however, the mix is messed up a little bit. It's a little muddy, and then the master's a little muddy because all these frequencies are trying to slam through one door, and I feel like they're not separated enough. I think it's that little like metallic-y little thing. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like some side chaining on those drums would be nice too. Just some muddy mix. Go back and take a look at your mix and your master. Take a look at something that's not detuned. I think it's like a little metallic-y sound in here. It kind of sounds out of tune. Whether it be too detuned or it's just something's wrong with it. And then make sure bring those drums down a little bit, and add some side chaining. Maybe not in this track, but in a future track. I have to. I'm curious now. I know it's towards the end of the song. I'm not going to go all the way through it, but yeah. All right. Guys, it's 2:01 p.m. and our stream lasts 1 hour. So that's going to be it for today. Everyone who submitted a track, thank you. Anyone who I didn't get to, don't fret. Don't be mad at me. Don't say in the chat, oh my God, I told you to listen to my track. It's only 50 seconds long. Oh my God, I told you, yes, this, that. But don't do that because it doesn't help. It just makes me not want to listen to it because you keep yelling at me. So just come back next week on Sunday at the same time. We have a stream every single week. Sometimes I randomly decide to do it for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Really depends on what I have to do afterwards. But today I have some stuff to do, some people to talk to, some things to do. So I had to make it 1 hour. For everyone whose track got reviewed, great job. Make sure you head over to Facebook, share the stream. Everyone who is here just hanging out, make sure to share the stream on Facebook. Bring some new faces in here. We have a lot of people that come in every single week that are weekly people that come in, and they always bring tracks and they always get better. So I would like to see some new faces and some new work and some new music, some new genres that I haven't heard. Other than that, I will see you guys in a week. Thank you for stopping by. Have fun with the rest of your day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I have a whole day of work to do ahead of me, so I will see you guys next week and have a great one.